My name is Gina Bericchia, and I'm the Senior Media Strategist at Nationwide Children's Hospital. So now that I'm doing strategy, I don't write press releases quite as much, but when I was first starting out at Nationwide Children's Hospital and when I worked at Ohio State's hospital, I would write press releases almost weekly. Nationwide Children's Hospital sends out multiple press releases a week, so that they're definitely a tool that we still use. So we have different buckets that we write press releases for. So the first bucket is announcements or awards. So that would be like if we got a big recruit that's coming to Children's who's famous that children really might come travel to see because they're so world renowned, or if one of our doctors received an award or recognition of some sort. The other thing that I write press releases about is when one of our physicians or researchers has received a publication in a peer-reviewed journal. So a lot of times at that point, it's public knowledge and we're ready to kind of tell the public, this is why you should care about this research that's been happening at Children's. So that's a really exciting time, and we work really closely with journals to figure out when the embargo is going to lift. We send out a press release often under embargo of the journal coming out. That way journalists have time to put together a good, compelling story about that research. The other thing we write press releases about are foundation events. So we have a wonderful community in Columbus, Ohio that supports our children's hospital. So we want to let people know about, hey, you can come to this event or you can run in the marathon. And those are ways that are going to support our patients and our mission. So I think an effective press release has several different elements. I think it has a headline that says what the news is and a lead that says what the most important part of that news is. I think the inverted pyramid is here to stay. I also think that a really effective press release is sent out in a very timely manner. Something I sometimes see is press releases coming out after I've read about stuff online or heard about it in the news. Sometimes there's strategic reasons for doing that, but I think making sure that your press release has really timely is important. As you know, journalists are busy. So they only have a few minutes to read over that press release, and if you are writing it like an article or like a story and not as factual information to help them write an article or a story, I think you're going to struggle. So I really think that those just clear, concise points are important. Honestly, the best advice I would have that I also wasn't taught in college is that press releases should be one page. So I really find pressure from our organization, other organizations I worked in, to write lengthy press releases. But the most important thing is to keep that clear, concise, short information that you can provide. That's more important than saying pound, pound, pound at the end, or 30, or the end. However, I do appreciate when a student comes in with a little bit of that background knowledge, because it does help. You know, you don't have to look at a blank page. You can get started. You know what the most important things are because you've been taught them. So at Nationwide Children's Hospital, we have amazing people doing amazing things. That does not mean that every single amazing thing that happens at Children's deserves a press release, right? So for example, I just had this wonderful program that we have. They updated their website. It's beautiful. It has great resources for parents and families. It's really useful. But when they came to me and asked for a press release, I said, maybe we could think about the best way to really get this information directly to parents. And perhaps we can use other outlets like our social media channel or email marketing, where the parent could directly click on that link and get access to your wonderful website with resources and information. I also think that the things that do deserve a press release are things that you have a little time to work on. You don't want your press release to go out when it's old news. You want it to be newsworthy when you send that out, and multiple organizations are getting it. So if you can work under embargo to gather data, to gather facts, to gather quotes, and then send something out at the time of the event, or the time of the publication, or the time of the that the news is actually happening, to me that's the most useful. And I think you also need to think about, like, what is the event and who is it for? So for example, we have a little fundraiser every year that happens in New Albany. So that's great. And that can be a press release, absolutely. But I'm not going to send that to every single news outlet, right? I'm going to send that to local New Albany media, to the This Week and suburban publications. I'm also going to send it out further in advance from the event, so that way the community knows, has time to plan for it and get it on their calendars. A couple tips for writing a successful press release is to use the best words and the most concise words, not flowery language. Another tip would be to have the most important information at the top. That way reporters know right away, this is why this should matter to your viewers or your readers. I would also say to not get too caught up in trying to write an article. Your journalists are going to write the articles for you. You're trying to give them the information and the tools that they need to write that. So think about other things that they might need, whether it's videos, photos, other things that you can incorporate it to help them tell a compelling story.